Warning, incoming game over. Warning, incoming game over.
Whoa, where did that come from? Leafs with a dominant 7-2 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins on Hockey Night in Canada. We have good things to talk about tonight. Welcome in, everyone, to Game Over Toronto. What a breath of fresh air. As Luke said in the chat, there's water in the desert, people. We are alive. We're back. We're so back. I posted this during that game, but we, in the midst of the it's so over, we found within us the inevitable we're so back. We'll see how long that lasts. It might last a game. It might last a day. I don't know. But for now, we're going to enjoy a random, really solid game from the Leafs. I'm not even going to sit here and say they were dominant. Like, we could call a spade a spade. The Leafs just capitalized on all their chances in this one. But man, what a nice change of pace. Just a stress-free win. When's the last time we had one of those? It has been a month, honestly. It's probably that Utah game at the start of November. It's been a long time, and that was also the last time the Leafs won in regulation. It's been a long time coming to get an effort like this, to get a game like this, and we're going to talk about it. Of course, before we get into it, be sure to hit like and subscribe to Game Over Toronto. I apologize for not being live last night. I had things to do, so we're back today, though. Back on track to stream most Toronto Maple Leafs games. So be sure to hit like and subscribe to the channel for that, and go follow the Game Over Network on social media as well, so you stay up to date with everything going on the other channels. Zach, you're lucky you took yesterday off. You know, it's funny. OKO, I watched the first period, and then I watched the first 2 minutes of the second period against Washington. And after Matthews set up Nice, by the way, Matthews had such a nice move yesterday. He sent Ovi flying into the boards. And then Nice scored, and then I left. And then I went out. And I checked my phone later in the night, and I was like, oh yeah, how'd the Leafs do? And I was like, yeah, that sounds about right. A 4-2 loss last night. A frustrating loss by all accounts from everything that I was reading. But hey, apparently, if I watch the games, better things happen. So I'm back. The Leafs are back, and we're going to talk about it. So for those of you who are new here, what we do is in this first segment, I just do a game recap, the what happened in this game. Second period, we get into the big story coming out of this one. Third period, we get into another story. Fourth period, Q&A. But those of you who have been with me for a long time, you know that this is going to be an interactive show. Drop your thoughts on this game throughout, and like for those of you who are here right now, who impressed you the most in this one, because we definitely got to talk about some individual performances as well. That's going to be big for the second segment of this show. But to start off, before the game, Domi back in the lineup, back on line one. Nylander back in the lineup after missing yesterday with, I believe they described it as an illness or injury. I don't know. He's back in the lineup. That's the important thing. Matias Maccelli comes out. Kalle Jarnkrok comes out. Hildeby's in net on the second half of a back-to-back right away. Anthony Mantha left all alone in front, but he completely fanned on the shot. So Leafs get away with one there. Hildeby makes a nice save on Evgeny Malkin. The puck was falling around Gino early on in this one, but he was unable to capitalize on those chances. The Leafs were definitely hemmed early on in this game, though. They started off on their heels. They iced it like 4 times in the first 5 minutes. They did not get off to a good start in this one. They were definitely chasing the game a lot early on. But end of a shift, Matt Nyes outworks 3 Penguins in the offensive zone to get offensive possession, sends it to the other corner. Oliver Ekman-Larsson, as the change is going on, Easton Cowan comes onto the ice. OEL tries to hit Cowan in the slot. Puck bounces back to OEL, and OEL is just left with time and space, so he walks out front. He rips one home, his 4th of the year, I believe. 9-game point streak for OEL. That is the second longest point streak for a defenseman in franchise history. One off of tying, who was it? Hold on, Twitter, save me. I had this pulled up too, which is the funny part. It was... Now, see, this is I need to remember who this was now. Tom Curvers, back in 89-90, had a 10-game point streak. OEL ties Cody Franzen and Brian McCabe and Ian Turnbull with 9-game point streaks. absolutely insane that it's OEL. I did not have that one on my bingo card, but alas, the Leafs start off with a 1-0 lead. A couple moments later, Dakota Joshua, who, by the way, was excellent in this game, blows up Matt Dumba. Matt Dumba had a tough night. But Joshua blows him up. Love to see the physicality from Joshua. We talked about this a couple of shows ago, where it's when he comes back in the lineup, he's going to have to be more physical and be more impactful and go to the hard areas and just play with a bit of a chip on his shoulder. It seems like he discovered that in this one. He lays a big hit, but Dakota Mermis takes a penalty behind the Leafs net, little bit of a hook, and 8 seconds into that penalty kill, Kindle bats it out of the air, and it beats Hildeby. Just a weird bouncing play. I think Crosby got a whack at it, and then it pops up in the air, and he swats it past Hildeby. So Kindle, his 3rd goal in the 2 games against the Leafs so far this season, ties the game up at 1. But as you guys are alluding to, as Luke's saying, seriously, how much do we love Cowboy? Leaving him to be the 28th overall pick was disrespectful. And if we want to harken back, that's the pick that the Leafs got for trading Rasmus Sandin, I believe, is what that pick was back in a few years ago. So good. Thank you, Dubas, and that scouting staff. That was your final gift to us. Armoni is saying, Cowan has been great so far. Great to see his puck luck improving. Well, sometimes it's not even about the puck luck. Sometimes it's just about finishing your chances, and that's exactly what happened on this play. The second line on the cycle, Easton Cowan hits Nylander at the top of the slot. Nylander was in a prime shooting position, and I was stunned that he didn't rip this one, but thank God he didn't, because Nylander, with just the great vision, the one touch pass back to Cowan. Cowan was so caught off guard by that. He didn't get a good shot on it by any means, but Arthur Shvilov's came out of the net because he expected Nylander to shoot the puck, gives it back to Cowan. He buries it into the yawning cage. Easton Cowan, 2nd goal in 3 games here. That was a fantastic play by the second line. And Cowan, man, is he starting to pick up steam here. He's up to 3 goals on the year. He's playing just under a half a point a game pace right now. He's on pace for like 35 to 40 points, somewhere in there, which for a 20-year-old is absolutely fantastic for the Leafs. Easton Cowan looks like the truth right now. Every line he's been on has been fantastic so far this season. Obviously, he's still a kid. He's still got warts in his game, but he has been such a breath of fresh air for this lineup, and it's been fantastic. I noted after this that there was a crazy pace to this game early on, where like both teams were just flying around. It seemed like there was a lot of energy and pace to this game, which is shocking for the Leafs on the second half of a back-to-back, but we like to see that. Hildeby makes a great save off of a Waugh turnover where Malkin sets up someone in the slot. Sorry, I forget who, but Hildeby makes a nice save on that one. Or I should have mentioned the Leafs took another penalty in there, a Domi hooking penalty. As that penalty expires, the Leafs are able to draw one. OEL does the old veteran, like feels a stick under his arm, so he just kind of pins it and it drags it with him, and that gives the Leafs a power play. 5 forward unit back out there. It didn't work on this one, but they got some better looks as the game went on. Lizotte did have a shorthanded breakaway that Hildeby had to stop. That's part of the nature with the 5 forwards, and admittedly, the 5 forward unit does not work as well when you don't have a Mitch Marner back there to be a good defender, so the Leafs don't really have the personnel to do the 5-man unit anymore, but they're still trying it, and Matthews at the point. I don't hate the idea of just having Matthews pound a ton of shots on net. We'll see how long they stick with this, though. Dakota Joshua, he goes to the net and creates chaos. Morgan Riley has a shot from the point. He puts it on, and Bobby McMahon just flying through the lower slot, deflects it. Beautiful deflection. It takes a bounce, and it goes into the back of the net. Great work by Dakota Joshua, just getting to the net, going to the dirty areas. Loved to see that from him. And then a little bit after that, third line buzzing again, the McMahon, Waugh, Joshua line. They're just getting after it, working hard. They get it back to the point. A shot does not get through. I believe it was Troy Stetcher on that shot. Doesn't get through, but Dakota Joshua, again, go to the net. Good things happen. He gets it a little bit off the slot, like right circle. Turnaround shot. Beats Shvilov's, and that is the end of his night. The Leafs chase him. That makes it 4-1. And at that point, OKO saying in the chat there, Leafs had 4 goals on 9 shots. Crazy percentage. But to be fair, if you look at like where the goals were scored, OEL, low slot. You have Cowan on a one-touch one-timer from Nylander with traffic in front, so the goaltender couldn't see the puck and see the play develop properly, and then deflection in front and rebound in front. The Leafs, for as much as that's a crazy percentage, where the goals were coming from, you expect them to be scoring at a higher clip. Obviously, that's extreme, but credit to the Leafs, they actually went to the money areas in this game, and they worked to get the puck into those money areas. So for as much as that is a very abnormal percentage for a team to shoot at, it was at least earned in a sense. It's not like the Leafs were just flinging pucks on from distance and somehow getting them to go in. Like, they actually earned these goals, which is really good to see. Hildeby made a great cross-crease save on Kindle, who had like a backdoor deflection play. Nyes did draw a call on a like pushing and shoving match in front. On that power play, Tavares had a deflection that Jari barely got a toe on. That was the top unit's best chance for sure. The second unit comes on, and a little bit of a scramble in front. The penalty kill for the Penguins was so aggressive. Jari was super aggressive trying to cover this puck. Domi able to swipe it away from him. He sets up Nick Waugh in front for a tap-in of all tap-ins. That gives the Leafs a 5-1 lead. All three members of the third line scoring a goal in this one, and I literally wrote in my notes, 5-1 Leafs, WT, like, what the fuck is this? Like, where did this come from? The Leafs actually converting on their chances at an insane, alarming rate. Joshua with a net front drive, he drew another call at the end of a shift. It was like 50 seconds into a shift, and he still lowered the shoulder, drove the net, draws a holding call. Great effort by him. The Leafs don't do anything on it. And then Crosby, he does get one late as he's able to slide one past Dennis Hildeby in front. OEL just left his man in front. It happens. Hildeby then a couple moments later, this is where the game could have gone out of hand, but Hildeby makes a great stop on a deflection, then on Malkin in front moments later. So those two chances, if either one of those goes in, maybe the Penguins get a little bit of momentum, but Hildeby held the door shut, did everything that you could have possibly asked from him in this game, and just honestly played great. And then this, we want to talk about water in the desert, which I guess is going to be the theme of this game. On a 2-on-2 rush, Max Domi drops it to Austin Matthews. And Austin Matthews, from what is normally considered not a dangerous area. And you know what? For how many players are in the NHL? How many active NHL players are there? There are 736 players in the NHL. And for 735 of them, that is not a dangerous shooting location. But for Austin Matthews, that is exactly what that is. A classic vintage curl and drag that very few people can pull off. Austin Matthews gets his 10th of the season as he is continuing to hunt down Matt Sundin for the all-time Leafs franchise goals leader. I said that poorly. You know what I mean. He's hunting down Sundin. I think he's 9 away from tying him at this point. A vintage rip by Matthews. It was so nice to see. Extends the lead to 6-2. And then just for good measure, Matt Dumba with just a brutal turnover. Nick Robertson strips him, comes in alone, rips it 5-0 on Jari to make it 7-2. Great play by Robertson. Gets us to our final score of 7-2. Leafs win. And we go home happy. Luke saying that was also one of about 3 or 4 games this season when they've kept the opposition to 2 or fewer goals. Yeah, a lot of things have not been going right for the Leafs this season. So all of this seems to be an egregious overcorrection, but it was nice to see. Do have to mention that OEL did not finish this game due to an upper body injury. He is going to be evaluated tomorrow. Craig Berube with the classic. I'm hoping he's fine. I think he'll be okay, but we'll see. Like, yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know, man. It's the injury thing is a whole thing. I do want to check natural stat trick though, because the Leafs in this one, what was the quality difference? So actually, the Leafs in this one They had 6 goals at 5-on-5 on 1.4 expected goals, which is hilarious conversion rate. Like, the Leafs' efficiency in this one of converting chances was absolutely out of this world. But the Penguins did control play at 5-on-5. The Leafs actually controlled it a little bit more in the first period in terms of the high danger chances and the expected goals, although there was like no expected goals 5-on-5 in the first. Second period was tilted in the Pens' favor. Third period was really tilted in the Pens' favor, but granted, score effects do have a little bit of a factor there. So, I mean, this does feel like, okay, so this is where it's a little bit weird because the Leafs, they did play well in the sense that when they had the puck in the offensive zone, they were working to get it to the dangerous areas, and they did a good job. But honestly, it's not even like they played like out of their minds tonight or played some egregiously good hockey. It's like, no, they just converted their chances at a wicked rate. It's like this. I do want to make that distinction, not to be a Debbie Downer and like kind of, you know what I mean, and like wet blanket this, but this was a good win. Don't play like this every night though, because you won't convert on chances like this every night, and it does kind of feel like the type of hockey the Leafs have been playing for the last 3 weeks, and they just happened to score everything that they shot, which maybe it'll give them some confidence. I know that's something that Craig Berube has been hammering lately, is that the Leafs just need to win a game and get some confidence and it'll go to their legs. We'll see. If it's going to, this is exactly the type of game where it's just everything was going in, everyone's feeling good. But that said, we will have to see where they go from here. But with that being said, I'm going to turn us over to our second segment. So, of course, be sure to leave your thoughts on this game in the chat. Luke saying Robbie's goal is straight bullying. OMG. Yeah, it was pretty filthy by Robertson. I'll give him that. As always, a reminder to hit that like button and subscribe to Game Over Toronto with notifications turned on so you don't miss any streams. And if you're also interested, you can go get some merch from the Game Over Network if you want to support us in any other way. I'm wearing the Skater hoodie on right now. You can go check out our store. We got hoodies, we got shirts, we got mugs, we got hats, we got everything you need. So go check that out, thegameovernetwork.com. We've got merch available for every Canadian market, all 7 of them. So be sure, go rep your favorite team, your favorite market, and support the Game Over Network in that way. For this second segment, I just want to give some love and appreciation to a player and a line, truly. But we'll start with a player, and then we'll get to a line that I've been hard on this season. We've been hard on. I've said some pretty harsh things about this player. And I do want to make sure that I take the opportunity to also admit, hey, that was a great bounce back. And he has had a couple of nice games in a row. Dakota Joshua, ever since coming back into the lineup since being scratched, has been a lot better and a lot more impactful. I was very much accusing him of being a cardio merchant. Yes, he led the team in hits, but I questioned how physical he really was being. In this game, you saw what he can do with his size and his frame. The drawing a penalty at the end of the shift through pure effort and his size just being too much for a defender to handle. Hey, going to the net and creating traffic in front, that leads to a rebound goal. He also was impactful on the McMahon deflection goal, laying a big hit on Matt Dumba. This is what Dakota Joshua can be. And this has been what's so frustrating about what he has been so far this season up until the last couple of games, which was just nothing. Like, the potential of Dakota Joshua and the idea of Dakota Joshua was so tantalizing because it fits exactly what this team wants to be about. Big, physical, gets after it on the forecheck, good penalty killer, good defensively, is responsible, everything in theory that Craig Berube wants. And we just hadn't seen it. We saw the penalty killing throughout the season, but we hadn't seen the physicality. We hadn't seen the forechecking. We hadn't seen really anything else than some decent penalty killing. And I mean, the harshest comment I had for him is he's pure Engvall but without the skating. Now he actually is starting to look like the player the Leafs were hoping he was when they acquired him. He's starting to get a little bit more confidence. He's starting to do the things he's capable of doing, and it's so reassuring to see that. And that also ties into the fact that the third line in this game was so good Dakota Joshua, Nick Waugh, Bobby McMahon. I know Waugh had one giveaway that I harped on him for, but the idea of that line is actually so solid. Nick Waugh can be a facilitator of sorts for these guys. And McMahon, look, he's a simple player. He skates north-south and he shoots the puck, but he can also lay a hit and get after it on the forecheck. Joshua, same thing. So you get these bang and crash guys. Waugh's also good on the forecheck, but Waugh is like the can do everything kind of guy. He's not great at anything, but he's good at a lot of things. And so the idea of just having someone to facilitate with these two bang and crash kind of wingers is such a good concept, and I'm so happy that we started to see those three work together, and I would love to see that line together again for the foreseeable future, because they had a rough start when they put those three together a couple of games ago, but just I want to see more, man. Like they had such a good night tonight. Obviously all three of them scoring in this one. The promise is so good, and I think the middle six is solidly set right now. I think Cowan, Tavares, Nylander is the line, and I think Joshua, Waugh, and McMahon is the line. First line, maybe you switch out Domi. Fourth line, maybe you switch out Robertson or Lawrence, or I don't know. But the middle six, I'm very content with right now. They've been really solid. Luke saying, I mean, they won by 5 goals. They don't have to get this lucky every night to still win. They just have to keep the puck out of their net. Yep, and Joseph Woll has been doing a fantastic job of that. I'm more so worried about, I'm still very concerned about the Leafs' ability to control possession. That's the number one concern, is that they don't have the puck enough. And when they play against better teams like Washington, or like the comments that Logan Thompson made last night were so damning, where it's like, every single team feels like they dominate the Leafs, and that can't happen. So we'll see what happens. Who do they got coming up on the schedule? I don't even know who they've got this week. They have, I know they have Montreal a week from now again. Right, we have Florida on Tuesday, so that'll be a good test. And Carolina. So the next, and then Montreal and Tampa. Montreal, who just dummied them in Tampa. So you've got the next 4 games against teams that can and will control possession against this team. You've got to be better. You've got to have the puck on your stick more. I know Berube is just going to be like, keep digging in, but just something to be aware of. But anyways, the point is, third line much better in this game. Dakota Joshua much better. And it's awesome to see that. I'm going to switch us over to our third segment now. As always, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to Game Over Toronto. And if you have questions, start putting them in the chat now. We're going to get to our Q&A in just a few moments here. But before we do, just make sure you hit like, hit subscribe, all that good stuff. Luke saying maybe Joshua just needed a bit of time to adjust to the fact that he plays for the same team as Mark Giordano, the old man who punched the snot out of him a couple of years back. I mean, fair. Joshua, if he just needs to get pissed off. Like, this was the Leafs need to play angrier, I think. And like Joshua, you need to have someone that just is always ready to piss him off in the morning. Like, have someone be a team asshole and just, steal someone's like skates and piss them off before practice, or like stuff like that. Like, just do little things to make Joshua a little extra angry in his day-to-day life, so that he takes it out on the opponents when he takes the ice on game days. But in this third segment, I do want to take a moment to talk about the power play, because the power play is in such a weird spot right now, and I don't know how you guys feel about it. I know I alluded to it earlier. I don't think the 5-man unit is the play. I don't think the Leafs have a plan still. Mark Savard, still so bad of a power play coach. The Leafs coach, the whole coaching staff sucks, but we kind of have to deal with it at this point. For the power play, though, I was listening to the MLHS podcast with Anthony Petrielli and Nick Ashbourne, and Anthony, as he does, made a excellent point that the Leafs have been wanting someone who can just get pucks through at the point. For like that's what their goal is. They need guys on the flanks that can be the skill players, whatever. But for the guy at the top, they just need someone who can get a puck through for Tavares and Nyes to tip, in theory. And OEL is that guy. OEL can get a shot through, and he has a legitimately good shot, and they try him for like one game at a time, and then they just let it go. And now you have Matthews awkwardly playing the top, which I get the concept of just wanting to have Matthews pound the puck through and hope that Matthews can get pucks through at a higher rate because he's the best shooter on the team, obviously. But at the same time, now you're pigeonholing Matthews into being the defenseman on the power play, and that's not where he should be. He should be on the flank. I don't care which one, whether you want him to do a curl and drag or one-timers. I don't really care. Matthews needs to be on the flank hammering one-timers. OEL is so capable of being the defenseman on the power play. I love Easton Cowan, and we talked about this, but I feel like you definitely can just take him off of it. It's not going to be the end of the world. The other option is I think if you want to do the top unit thing, like the big four guys and then OEL, if you don't want that, then split the units up. Let's have a unit with OEL, Matthews, and Nyes, and Domi on one side. And then let's have another unit with Nylander and Tavares and Cowan. Just have the second line and Morgan Riley and just figure it out in front. Like, you can have the two unit little competition, or you can, because I feel like Nylander on the power play is so hit or miss because he wants the puck on his stick, and the motion on the power play, I think, messes with his flow a little bit. So I honestly wouldn't mind just having a second power play unit, like splitting the units up where it's just like, give it to Willie, get out of the way. And then the top unit or the other unit, sorry, can be Matthews and Nyes and like Domi, and they can try all their fancy skill plays, their spin, no look passes, all that, and try to get all those through. So the power play, I like that they're experimenting with the 5 forward unit again, because it went so well last year. At the same time, Marner is uniquely equipped to be the point man on a power play. The Leafs don't have anyone to replicate that specific skill set, so put OEL there, let him get shots through, and then you'll not allow as many breakaways, which I feel like I'm really worried about the amount of shorthanded chances they're going to give up as well. But anyways, that's my rant. Maybe you guys see it differently. I don't know. Armonia is saying 5-6-3 in November. It was a rough month, but I don't think it's the end of the world as it has seemed all month. That's fair, honestly. And I mean, granted, you've won 2 of your last 3 now. That definitely helps, because it was 3-5-3 before that, which did seem a little bit more end of the world. The Leafs now are actually tied with Florida, I believe, with 25 points. Granted, the Leafs have played an extra game. The Leafs are only 9 points back of the Lightning for first, and they're only 4 points back of the Habs for second. The Lightning are starting to pull away with the division, which this always happens in the Atlantic. Montreal's been horrible lately. Ottawa's hardly convincing. I mean, Ottawa's third in the division. They're 1 point behind Montreal. They've won 12 games. They've lost 12 games. They just have 4 loser points, which is helping them. But like, Florida is 12-12 overall. The Leafs are 11-14 technically, 11-3. The Red Wings are 13-12. The Bruins are 14-12. When you take total wins and losses, obviously the loser points help. The Atlantic has hardly been convincing this year. The Leafs, if the Leafs went on even if the Leafs went on like a 4-game win streak, like let's say next week, if the Leafs beat all of Florida, Carolina, Montreal, Tampa, they just went on, or like a 5-game win streak, which shouldn't even be out of the realm of possibility. A 5-game win streak would make them like second in the division, like that. Everything is super tight this year. The Atlantic is the worst division in hockey right now. The Metro is always a joke, but like the Atlantic's been the most mid division. It's just not as top heavy, but it's also not got as many bottom dwellers. Like, Buffalo's bad, Toronto's bad, but the Toronto could change their outlook in a week. 1 week of good play, and they would fix everything. So the season's like, there's still so many games. The Leafs have ample opportunity to turn this ship around. That being said, they also have ample opportunity to keep digging themselves into a deeper and deeper hole. I don't know what's going to happen, and this next 4-game stretch is going to tell us a lot, because you're out of excuses. Joseph Woll has been playing out of his mind. Hildeby played great tonight, so you can use him if you need. You've been getting the goaltending. Figure it out against good teams, and then we'll talk. and then we'll talk. With that being said, I'm going to turn us over to our fourth and final segment. I know it's a little bit of a shorter show this evening, but if you have questions, this is the time. Get them down in the chat, and I'll be sure to answer them as we wind down this show. Excuse me. As always, just a reminder to hit that like button and subscribe to Game Over Toronto, and I'm going to check Twitter in the meantime. Luke saying, so this next game decides if we move ahead of Florida. We're so losing that one. Well, we'll deal with that on, was it Tuesday? Oh yeah, what days do the Leafs play? Because this could get bad. Well, the Leafs play Tuesday and Thursday. So guess what, guys? Thursday night, there will not be a show. That's unfortunate, but I have a conflict. Oops. Well, that happens. And then the Leafs play Saturday and Monday. Oh, I got to get dunked on by someone over at Game Over Montreal again. Can the Leafs please do something that night? Domi saying, asked about being scratched before returning to the lineup. Not going to answer anything about that. That's behind us now, so we'll focus on the win tonight. It's huge, and I'll go from there. Okay, man. I hate how combative the Leafs are with the media still. Even though Keith Pelley, when he was brought in, that was a major selling point, is that he was going to focus on improving the connection there, or like the relationship there. There's really not a lot happening, though, with the quotes. Not much. So, yeah. Aside from that, do you guys have any questions for me? I'll check on the out-of-town scoreboard in the meantime, I guess. I think the Habs lost earlier today. The Habs got killed by the Avalanche. 7-2. Hey, same thing. The Oilers killed the Kraken. Seattle might not be very good. The Bruins beat the Red Wings in a shootout. That's always a bummer. And the Lightning beat the Rangers. Oh my lord, they outshot them 35-13. My lord. We've definitely burned a year off of Cowan's contract. So, funny story. I actually got this wrong at the start of the year. Cowan was going to have a year come off anyways, because he's 20. My apologies. I forgot that the slide rule only applies if you're 18 or 19. So Cowan was going to have a year come off anyways. So it actually doesn't matter. But he's been really good. I actually got to see his pace right now. I think I've told you 35-40. I just want to confirm that that's true. So he has 8 points in 17 games. 8, 2, and he's played 17 out of what? 25? So he'll play 74 games if he plays every game. He's scoring at a 35-point pace right now, but he's obviously playing in the top 6 now, so his point total, or his rate should go up, if anything. Easton Cowan could easily score 40 points this year. He could easily score 12 to 15 goals and 20 to 25 assists if he's playing in the top 6. And I don't hate it. I honestly think, I still don't, like, Tavares and Cowan work so well together, and Nylander's works well with anyone as long as you give him the puck. I actually think, though, long term, I wonder if the top line at some point, sooner rather than later, is just going to be Knies, Matthews, Cowan. And, like, I wonder if we come into next year and it's just those three, Knies, Matthews, Cowan, and then figure the rest out. But at the same time, Cowan just works so well with the big boys up front. So I'm a huge Cowan supporter at this point. I am blown away by how good he is already, and I think he's got a ton of potential to be a legit 60, 70, maybe even 80-point player in the future. But that kid's real good. He's real good. I don't know if he'll be able to ever drive his own line. That'll be the biggest question mark, is can he drive a line? But as a complimentary piece, I certainly will not complain. That kid is legit. And he also, like, Berube loves him because he hustles all the time. And, like, he's got a little bit of the Nick Robertson kind of, like, yeah, he's a little bit smaller, but he just doesn't stop skating. He doesn't stop hunting the puck. He's great at causing turnovers. He's great in transition. He's just a super solid player, man. Super solid. With that said, it doesn't look like there's any other questions, so I think that's where we are going to wrap up for this evening. So thank you all so much for watching and hanging out with me this evening after a Leafs 7-2 win over the Pittsburgh Penguins. Again, reminder, hit like, hit subscribe, follow the Game Over Network on all social medias. You could also follow me at Zach Payne 41 on Twitter, Bluesky, and YouTube as well. So be sure to go hang out with me over there. And until next time, guys, I'll see you on Tuesday after the Leafs-Panthers game. Luke saying thank you for the chat. Thank you for being here, Luke. And like Luke said off the top, there's water in the desert, folks. Have a good night, everyone. I'll see you next time. Cheers.